Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT. For those that's watching this when this drops, it's Memorial Day, right? That's what it is.
Yep.
Happy Memorial Day. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Maybe you're going to a cookout today. It's rainy in Jersey, so there's no cookouts really happening. But we do have something really dope happening. We have special guest Daniella O'Neil Garcia is in the building. Thank you. Thank you. How
Of
are
course.
you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
Can't complain. I mean, a cookout would be nice, but it
Yeah.
is.
Here in Puerto
It's,
Rico is hot. It's like 90 degrees every single day. So, nice sunny day.
yeah, I would like, I would like that instead for sure. So starting off there, speaking of Puerto Rico, so for those that don't know, you play tennis at Liberty University. What was your thought process, your motivating factor of coming to Liberty University, being from Puerto Rico? You were big time ranked in Puerto Rico doing tennis. Why come to Liberty University?
So Liberty was like super nice to me since the moment I basically started talking to them. Like I didn't know what Liberty was until I was playing this like level one tournament in the US. And you have a lot of recruits basically watching you in that tournament because that's like the highest level that there is. And I see the head coach of the team basically sitting in a gazebo next to the court that I was playing at, and I was like, I don't know what the L. He had a shirt, and I was like, I don't know what the L means, but I know that the U means to the university because I also saw like other
Mhm.
recruits from other schools like in that tournament as well. And so I was in my mind, I was like, okay, someone's watching, so I have to play like my best game possible, because you never know what can happen, right?
Yeah.
And so I play against a really good girl. I beat her, and I'm having like the time of my life. And then after the tournament's over, I get an email basically saying like, oh, like Flames Nation wants you and whatever, and with all emojis and stuff. The first thing I thought it was like, this is a scam. Because like the way that he was like reading and I got the message was like, I don't think this is real. But then I made more research on what Liberty was, and also like making sure that the head coach name was the actual one and the email and everything. And I was like, look, like this is a great opportunity. And so I mean, since the first conversation I had with them, they were so nice, so humble, so welcoming as well. And then they just basically made my recruiting process so easy. And then when I went on my visit, it was like a no brainer. It was like, wow, this is like the place to be. Like I thought that like staff and stuff like they were being so overly nice just because I don't know they wanted me to go there and stuff. But I mean I've been now 2 years there and it's been the same treatment since the moment I got there. So like they don't really care about your background, your ethnicity, like who you are. Like they just always want you to excel and succeed not only on the athletics but also in the academic. So like, and also for your future, they prepare you really well for your future. So, I mean, it felt like a family basically away from home since the moment I got there. So it was like a no brainer to just go and study there.
Shout out to Liberty because we've had a couple other athletes from different sports from Liberty, and
Yeah. So
they all say how great the university is, how they make it feel like a family and a home environment. So shout out to Liberty. That's dope for you, right? And I've been there too. In regard, you got to always check nowadays because everybody's scamming. So you're not. I definitely would have looked at that email a little differently too. Like, wait, what?
no, I'm telling you, it said like Flame Nation was and then like three emojis. I'm like, I mean, of the proper of the other emails that I had from other schools, I've never seen an emoji. So I'm like, oh, okay. And so, but I mean, it turned out to being good, so I can't
That's
complain.
dope.
Oh yeah,
There you go. That's dope. So for you, right? Was there ever when you were growing up, was it always the dream to be like, I want to play collegiate tennis, or was this something that kind of grew into when you realized how good you were?
So believe it or not, tennis was my least favorite sport to play. I used to play. I used to play four sports at a time for like. I started playing sports when I was 5 years old, around there, and then till I was like 10-ish, that's when like I started to then like stepping away from other sports. But I used to play soccer, volleyball, basketball, and then tennis. And the reason why I hated tennis is because it was such an individualistic sport. You know, it's so individual. It's like you versus you, another person on the court, and you know, just playing. You gotta basically deal with everything by yourself. You know, it's not
Mhm.
that you have like a coach with you all the time, like leading you into the match. Like it's all you. And so also it's a sport that you have to be like quiet 90% of the time. You know, like even like on the you want to celebrate, it's like you have to. It's a gentleman sport, you know. So it's like you gotta do it like in a proper way. That you're also like respecting your opponent, and and so since I was young, I've always been such an like enthusiastic person. I've been always full of energy, so passionate, and I was like, I don't think tennis is really the sport for me. But my dad always saw like a vision in me on tennis. It's like
Mhm.
just give it a chance, you know. And so I was like, okay, well, I might as well not have to give it a chance. And so when I just dedicated on tennis 100%, I realized like, wow, like okay, I was pretty decent, you know. And when I was like, I would say like 14 years old, I was playing a tournament in the USTA campus in Orlando, Florida. That's like the biggest
Mhm.
tennis complex that there is in America for tennis. And I there was like the NCAA tournament going on for teams. And when I see that atmosphere, I was like, wow, like you know, like people screaming, like even the same um players and stuff, like screaming at every single point. Being so like enthusiastic. You have like your teammates also screaming around from different places and stuff. You got the mascots, you know, running around. It's like, wow, like this is so cool. Like I didn't know that tennis can be so passionate at that point, you know, or so loud. And so then that was like my wake up call, like, you know, like actually playing tennis in America doesn't sound really bad. So I would say it was more of like a learn like actually going to America and seeing what it was actually like, because they don't really portray you that in Puerto Rico. Like yeah,
Mhm.
we have colleges here in Puerto Rico, and yeah, there's tennis and there's other sports, but it's not as big as you know what basketball is or what baseball is, because those are like the more primary sports here.
Mhm.
um and the tennis level, it wasn't like really that high, so it's like for me then when I saw, I was like, okay, we gotta aim for the big leagues, you know, like so that was basically how like my love for college tennis started to happen.
That's dope to be able to see
Yeah.
that, especially at that young age, and be like, all right, this is actually what I want to do, and then actually accomplish that and do that. So it's one thing to be like, I want to do something, and you have the dream, but you actually are living your dream, which is super dope.
Yeah.
For you, with coming to Liberty, right? How was that transition of being in America pretty much during the school year? And like you said at the beginning, you're in Puerto Rico now, but how was that transition of, all right, I'm in America? Did you have any family come with you, or were you by yourself? Like, how was that transition?
So I mean, when they dropped me into, my family came with me and dropped me into college, but it was my first time ever. Like, I mean, it was not my first time in America, but it was my first time ever like alone, you know, and like having to deal with you know all the things, like basically becoming an adult. So obviously when they dropped me, it was really sad because it's like thing like you know you're used to seeing your dad, your mom, your sister like
Mhm.
all the time, or like even friends from home for a whole lot of years, and now it's like you basically have like a fresh start. So it was tough on the aspect of like you know the culture shock, like you know it's not the same culture. The food is completely different. Also the language, because you know I speak Spanish. In Puerto Rico, we speak Spanish, and even though we know English since a young age,
Mhm.
you know, to speak it all the time, like every single day, every single minute, like you're speaking English. I'm like, I don't know, there's someone that also speaks Spanish over there, you know? So like I was scared of like, man, I was gonna lose my Spanish. But I mean, now looking back, I had also like a lot of fears, you know, like also like, am I gonna be able to make friends? Am I gonna be able to actually fit in with the team? So yeah, you have all those questions, but I just honestly went like, you know what, like you're here for a reason. And you worked so hard to actually be in here, like just enjoy it. and be yourself. Honestly, that's what I would tell myself all the time. Like, be yourself, because that's when like people actually get to know you and are interested in actually getting to know you and your story and your culture. And now I have a whole lot of friends from other teams that want to come to Puerto Rico, or like just want to know more about tennis or like our culture. So I feel that's like also a really really big and nice thing of being in college, that it's like you get to learn from so many different places. Even in America, like I don't know all the 50 states, but like just knowing people from other states, like it's like, oh, like you get to experience like cool things, and it's like you make friends and bonds that are gonna last forever, basically. So
Yeah, that's the dope thing with sports is the bonds that you create for life and the friendships that come from sports. Like people that you end up being friends with long after you're playing sports, and that's where the connection is. Like for me, a lot of my friends, our origin story has to do something with sports.
yeah.
Playing basketball, watching a basketball game, going to a football game, it pretty much goes back to sports on some level at some aspect. So that's pretty dope for sure. With you playing tennis for such a young age to even now, what would you say is like the most challenging aspect of tennis? Like with even learning it and playing it, like what's the most challenging aspect?
I would say is staying motivated, honestly, and discipline. Like to lose focus on tennis, like honestly, to lose that love for tennis, it can be actually honestly really quick because of the whole time consuming it is. Like, hey, all sports are difficult, are tough, are super time consuming, but at least for tennis, it's such a super technical and tactical sport that it's like you need to practice every single day. Like even me, like taking a rest day, like for me, it's like I lost a lot of my rhythm, and it's like now I gotta like give it back in one day. So I would say also like that determination and motivation, because again, since like super individual, like you don't. It's not like, for example, you got a whole team with you. Like you're playing basketball. It's like, oh, like okay, I'm not shooting good today. At least like, I got a whole lot of guys that are like, hey, like, don't worry, like, I don't know, you gotta fix your form, or like, I don't know, a little move here and there, and like, you'll get in your groove again. In tennis, it's like you, your coach, or maybe your hitting partner on the other side be like, hey, like, like, don't worry about this, like, we'll do it the next time, like, next rep. And that's a cool thing now that honestly in college that it took me a little bit of time, because it's like I'm so used to only being like me, another person, and my coach. Like that would be my practices basically. And now it's like I got a group of girls and we're a team. It's like now we're playing like as a team, and that's not something that you're used to seeing on tennis. But I mean, you learn to cope with it now, and like it's I'm actually grateful that it is like that type of format in college, because I feel that helps you like so much, like because you could be having a bad day, and it's like you got you got your teammate next to you, be like, hey, it's okay, like now, like just give you 100% every single day, or you'll get on the next rep, or I don't know, like fix your stance, or like I don't know, get lower on the ball. So like having people around you are what 100% like keep you motivated and drive you to keep excelling and getting to that next level for sure.
Yeah, I tried tennis.
It's tough,
It's,
huh?
it's way more difficult than people actually give credit for, and way it looks on TV. Because you see it on TV,
Yeah, yeah.
and it seems easy, but like you said, it's very technical, and that's the other thing too. Like you're by yourself.
Mhm.
College level is different, but you go to the pro level, you see it, you're pretty much by yourself. So you have to make all your adjustments, all of that on your own, and playing a game like within the game. Like, all right, what did I do wrong on this serve? How do I fix this? How do I stay focused? So yeah, tennis, no, not for me.
And it's interesting because in juniors, when you're playing tournaments and stuff, you're by yourself basically. Like yeah, you can have your parents or your coach, whatever, watching your game and whatever. Like they can give you a little bit of coaching, but coaching is actually not really allowed when you're playing. And then when it comes to college, yeah, you got like three coaches, going around the whole six courts. And then when you go back, let's say you go to pros. In pros, there's no coaching either. So it's like, at least it's nice that on the college level you're able have experienced a little bit of coaching, but at the end of the day, it's all you because like when you're playing the singles, it's like you got 6 girls playing at the same time, only 3 coaches. Like you're not gonna have that one same coach watching your whole match all the time. So it's like it's good to also form that sense of like being you're the like problem solving by yourself. Because I feel that also helps a lot like in life.
Mhm.
I mean, sports help you in a lot of aspects in life, but at least on tennis, I feel like the problem solving part of it is it has helped me a lot. So
Now
it's
you
good.
mentioned staying motivated for you outside of your teammates, right? And your coaches helping you during those matches, on those days where you don't feel like practicing, on those days where you feel tired and you don't want to get your rhythm back, you don't want to keep going, it's rep after rep after rep after rep. How do you stay motivated? What drives you to keep going?
I would say like knowing like the reason why you started it at this first place. Like I feel like honestly my biggest motivation are my parents. Like knowing now that I'm older, like I realize like all the sacrifices that they made. Like all those early mornings that they took me to, the course, like drive I don't know a couple hours from where I live to even practice or travel with me to tournaments. Like like get off work like early or later just to basically be with me. Um, yeah, travel around the world basically. Just basically don't not do hobbies even like that they wanted to do because of I had tournament that weekend or whatever. I had this and this and this of tennis that day. So knowing that all those sacrifices that they made paid off really is the thing that honestly keeps me motivated. And man, knowing that when you have a passion for something and like you work so hard for something and then seeing it like come true, blossom, it's like I think the biggest satisfaction you could ever have. For example, like coming into college, like it's something that during the process it for me it seemed like really far because I was like, man, like I don't know like how different the level is from playing in the junior and then transitioning to college. Like that first year for me was really tough because you're not used to like playing
Mhm.
like that, and also you don't have like as much experience either. Because I personally didn't have like that much experience either because I will only play like here, like in Puerto Rico and in the United States. Like I got teammates that basically travel around Europe or Latin America, Asia, to play. So it's like they see everything, and I'm
Mhm.
like I'm pretty like confident, like only restricted into
Yeah.
America and Puerto Rico. Um, so yeah, I would say honestly, seeing like those things that you work for, and all the sacrifices that you make, coming through after you set yourself a goal like that, it's what honestly keeps you going. Obviously, winning keeps you going, but having also people surround like around you that also want to achieve that same goal and are also attentive or like you like, hey, I know you want to achieve this, so you should be doing
Mhm.
this, like keeping you on your toes basically, knowing that like are like conscious about the things that you want to do is and keep pushing you as well, like if you don't got people pushing you, then we're all gonna stay in that same level of mediocrity, honestly, so
Shout out to your parents. Shout out to them for the sacrifices because that's huge, and I think that's dope by you of also recognizing it, like you said, as you got older and appreciating that. I've met a lot of kids that do not appreciate the sacrifices
yeah,
that their parents did and do not understand. They just feel they were supposed to do it. That's not the case. Everybody doesn't get that type of support. So shout out to your
yeah.
parents. Shout out to you for realizing and appreciating that. If anybody that watches this listens to this, what would be one piece of advice you would share with them if they're trying to achieve that same goal of playing collegiate tennis, collegiate sports in general?
I would say good question, actually. Honestly, I would say like not like do pursue the things that you love doing. Like if you love doing something, then like stay with it. Like, do anything you can on your favorite. Like you said, like unfortunately there's kids that, let's say, like they don't have the support of their parents to even play sports, or I don't know, be on arts or do whatever they want to, their passion,
Mhm.
whatever it is. But I feel that a lot of it comes from you, from your heart. Like if you have people that see like your drive, your determination, your passion, and your dedication that you have for whatever you want to achieve, it's gonna happen. It's gonna come through. Like if you just sit around and wait for something to happen, like nah, I'm sorry. Like sorry to break it to you, spoiler alert. Like it ain't gonna happen. So like it's if you really really love something and you have the passion for it and want to achieve it, just work for it. Like it will happen. And now more with social media. Let's say you're in TikTok and like whatever you're posting your routine or something or whatever, it goes viral, then it's like you have a lot of like you know
Yeah.
messages on your DM like hey, like I'm interested in talking to you. So it's like doing like also trying to put yourself out there, because I feel, I mean, that's a risk that I also had to take. It's like putting myself out there, like going to America, because knowing that in Puerto Rico, like nobody is honestly gonna be that much interested in just coming here. So it's like you just gotta go to the big market
Mhm.
and see what happens. And yeah, at first it's tough. Like there's a lot of sacrifices you have to do, and all my life I missed a lot of birthdays, activities, school activities, just because of tennis, and just because I knew that I wanted to get into the point that I am today. And now looking back, like, yeah, in the moment I hated it. Like I was like, oh man, I missed another activity I missed. But now it's like, then like I'm actually happy I did the sacrifice that I did, because I mean it has. I mean, what I have now, it has no price to it, honestly. Like just being in this level and being around people that are basically professionals in what they do and like have so much experience. Like I think that's the biggest learning advice that you could ever have in your life.
Hey, I love that. If you love it, pursue it. That's something that, like you said, that's life. It don't have to
Mm-hmm.
be sports. It could be the arts. It could be being a lawyer. It could be being whatever you want to do. If you love it, pursue it. Put the time, put the work into it. Before we transition to our fourth quarter segment, which is a couple fun questions. Growing up, though, being that you played from such a young age, who were some of the athletes that you looked up to, that you drew inspiration for, whether it's in the sport of tennis or if it was in other sports? Like, who were some athletes that you looked up to growing up?
Well, definitely Serena Williams. I mean, that was my biggest inspiration. I mean, that's literally one of the reasons why I started to play tennis. I remember watching her playing like a Wimbledon 2009 around there. Like, and when I saw her, I was like, dang, like this girl's good. And I want, and like a lot of people were actually comparing me to her, and like how like euphoric I was on the court, how she would like ball strike and stuff. I was like, dang, like, and when I started to follow her career, I was like, okay, she's a goat for a reason. So I would say Serena Williams for sure. There's also a guy called Rafael Nadal. I don't know if you heard of it. He's
Yes.
from Spain. That guy is literally, I think, also one of my biggest inspirations. Like in men and women, I would say those two, because Rafa is such like he's literally not a quitter. Like he's the definition of like not quitting. And even though he might like, I think he's gonna like retire now this at the end of this year. I mean, he was a pro since he was 17 years old, which is crazy, and he's like 30 something now. So it's like having that career and being so dominant and just the heart that he always puts out there and like in the court. Like he could be having his worst day, but he will try his best to like turn the match around and get that dub. So honestly, watching people like that, it like motivates you 100% to keep going and even try to reach that level for sure someday.
Two goats that you mentioned right there for sure. Serena, Rafael Nadal, definitely some of the best tennis players, best tennis I've seen. Loved watching them. And the two people that you mentioned, I think also embodies and represents who you are in regards of, you said you were enthusiastic and passionate. Those two,
Oh
passionate.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I feel honestly being from Puerto Rico to like that puts a little bit of flavor into it, if I'm honest, because like I feel that a lot of Puerto Ricans are super super passionate about what they do. And I mean, you can see that in the NBA. You can see that also in the MLB, in the NFL. Like you have, and the even MLS as well. Like you got play when you see a Puerto Rican on court, on field, whatever it is, like you know they're gonna like basically give their 100%. Like that's something that I see like describes us a lot, and I'm happy, that I'm part of a country like that, and know that that also transmits a lot into the sports stuff.
Super dope. I love it. Fourth quarter segment. We ask everybody on the show that comes on because I love food so much. I eat for three people, even though it may not look like it. I eat for three people. What's one thing that you could eat and not get tired of?
Ooh, I'm a big eater too. Like I may not look at it, but I love eating. I would say steak, medium well, good steak with mashed potatoes on the side, vegetables. Ooh, that's done. Like you got me there.
Literally this week, my wife was saying you love steak so much. If you could eat steak every day, you would. I'm the same way. Medium well. Give me a medium well steak. You have my heart. We're good.
For real, yeah.
I'm good. You could put it, I don't care how you have it. You could put it on a plate. You could have it as a taco, quesadilla. You could have it with breakfast. Medium well steak,
Nothing beats that. Nothing beats that for sure.
nothing at all. If you were to meet your 18-year-old self and could only tell yourself three words, what would you say?
um, I would say, ooh, honestly, I would say to just keep going, because I mean, that's like a year ago. So like, it was when I was like starting college, and even though it seemed like very very difficult for me at that time, like making that transition, and adapting to a whole other country. I will always remind that even to myself, like, hey, like you're here for a reason. Like you deserve to be in the position that you are right now. So don't ever think that like you're here like because whatever torture, like you're here because you deserve to be here, and just keep going. Like I know there's gonna be good days and bad days, but just keep going and remind yourself like why you wanted to be here, and what motivated you and drive you to be in the point that you are as well. So, and knowing that you're not only doing this for yourself, but for your family and other people around you that also supported that dream for you too. So I'll say that.
For you, what are some things that you actually enjoy doing not related to tennis?
I love hanging out with my friends, going to the beach. The beach is literally my favorite. My favorite. I live like 5 minutes away from the beach. Like it's a place that brings me like so much peace. Just hearing the waves and having the breeze, nice sunny day. Like I would say like that's a place that I love being at. Which it's a little bit sad that in Lynchburg I don't get I'm in the mountains, so like if I want to go to the beach I gotta drive like 3 hours away. Obviously like the beaches in America aren't the same as they are in Puerto
No,
Rico,
no, they
but
are not.
they're not. But I mean I love the beach, love hanging out with friends, doing just honestly fun stuff. Even like if I'm not doing tennis, I'm doing also something like related in sports. I'll be playing ball, honestly, like I don't know, soccer, whatever. So like I love to stay active. You will never catch me playing pickleball. I hate it. I suck at it as well. But honestly, yeah, hanging out with friends and family as well. I'm a big family person. I love hanging out with my family. Um, yeah,
No,
pretty much
okay.
that.
Two more questions before we get you out of here. Again, thank you for hopping on with us. Thank you for
Mhm.
taking time out your schedule. Would you rather have the ability to be invisible or read people's minds?
So for tennis, I would say read people's minds so you can know what they're gonna do to you. Like like what if they're gonna serve here, if they're gonna how they're gonna play with you, but what strategy they're gonna use for you. But I would say being invincible or invisible. honestly. I'm much of an overthinker to wanting to know what other people think, like really people's mind for sure.
I get that with that one. Last one. If you could train with any tennis star, who would it be and why?
Honestly, I would say Rafael Nadal. As I was saying earlier, like that. If you see him, like he's so extreme. Like that guy literally pushes himself like to the limit all the time, and you can see how hard that fight that got like all the time he steps on the court. So I would say like, and I mean only seeing that from TV, it's like wow, like like drives you up so much. I've never been able to like actually see him in person playing, but also when you see honestly other pros like playing in person, you see like wow, like how much they want it. And this game is literally, I mean, just like any other sport, it ain't over until you hear the final whistle or you have the final point. So it's so knowing that Rafa is literally a person that does not ever give up until the last until it's, like they say game say in a match. Like that's until the point that he's like, okay, you know what, and if I lost, I lost. So for sure Rafa. Love that
Hey,
guy.
that would be a great pairing right there. We're gonna post that clip. Maybe we get his attention. We're gonna
Maybe,
shoot our,
yeah.
we gonna shoot our shot and see if we get his attention. See
Rafa,
if
if you
that
go to
can make
Spain, we can train someday.
see if we can make that happen. But again, Daniella O'Neil Garcia, thank you so much for hopping
Thank
on with
you.
us, taking your time out of your schedule. But y'all know the vibes. If you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.